Hello, and welcome to the Social Psychic Radio Show, featuring Jason Zook. In uncertain times, we must change our focus and priorities. This show will highlight social justice issues with the goal of expanding minds and increasing unity, love, and mutual respect for ourselves and our planet. We support the Black Lives Matter movement. Our show aspires to promote social spirituality, which simply means that by coming together, we can solve any of our problems, including the goal of bringing an end to all forms of hate, discrimination, bias, or oppression. We must protect our environment, reform our criminal justice system, and protect every citizen from police brutality. When we come together, it becomes possible to bridge the gaps that plague our society and divide us from within. We the people means everyone.
Hello and welcome to the Social Psychic Radio Show. This is Jason Zook. It's a great pleasure I have an opportunity to present returning guest, John Assaraf, author and renowned behavioral mindset expert regarding NeuroGym's 9th Annual Brain-A-Thon Event. The theme for this year is Change Your Brain, Change Your Income. John was on the show last year, and it's such a great thing to have returning guests that you can have relationships with. And I'm just very excited to have him share his event with our audience. And just a little background on John, just in case. I know most of you probably know who he is, but he's one of the leading mindset and behavioral experts of the world. He's appeared numerous times on Larry King Live, Anderson Cooper 360, and the Ellen DeGeneres Show. And he's built 5 multi-million-dollar companies, written 2 New York Times bestselling books, and has been featured in 8 movies, including the blockbuster hit The Secret. Today, John's here to talk to us about his NeuroGym 9th Annual Brain-A-Thon Event. And I'm really excited about that because the Brain-A-Thon event relates to a free online event. It's happened this 9th year in a row, and it's reaching hundreds of thousands of people. And it's all about connecting to John's renowned brain and mindset experts. And as part of the event, John and his panel of experts will discuss and teach the latest cutting-edge evidence-based methodologies, tools, and technologies to unlock the brain's potential for achieving financial freedom and greater life success. Experts for this year's event include Jack Canfield, Dr. John Demartini, Lisa Nichols, Marisa Peer, plus 2 others. It's a great pleasure. I welcome John to the show. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Jason. Great to be back on the show. And we got some really exciting, great stuff for this year planned for everyone, including Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, who is one of the top neuroscientists and neuropsychologists in the world, really sharing some of the latest research on how our brain predicts in advance, up to half a second, what might happen, and then cause us to think and feel and behave in ways that are based on the past versus what we want to have happen in the future. Fascinating stuff.
You've been doing this for several years. And what do you find has been the greatest, I'd say, enjoyment for you putting on this event, helping hundreds of thousands of people?
Do you know when, a child gets something and they're like beaming ear to ear because they've discovered something, they found something new. It's like, they're in this state of excitement. Every single year, we get to see people's light bulbs going off in a couple different ways. One is, oh my God, now I know why I've been stuck for so long. 2 is they get the techniques to be able to finally break free and do what they want to do. And so they know, for many of them, year after year after year, they read books, they attend events, and they feel good, but nothing changes. And so when they could join us and discover why they may be stuck, why they may not be fulfilling the potential, even though they feel like they have so much potential, these light bulb moments we see in the chat every single year. Wow, oh, that's why I read books and don't take action. That's why I bought that course and didn't complete it. That's why I start and stop. Oh my God, we hear that all the time.
For sure. And that's, I think that's like anyone who, before COVID or in general, anyone who like after New Year's Eve joins a gym, gets a membership, tries to go work out and then after a few weeks gives up and has the little thing on their keychain to show people that they joined the gym. I feel like, do you think that when people can learn to unlock their potential, they're going to live in a totally different kind of lifestyle for themselves, a mindset paradigm change? You think that that's one of the biggest things you get to promote through your event, influencing paradigm shifts?
We talk a lot about what would it take to really have freedom, right? Choice freedom, emotional freedom, financial freedom, and then freedom to do what you really want to do so that you can live life on your own terms versus being a victim of maybe your childhood or old conditioning, or your environment or the circumstances. And, we all get stuck in repetitive patterns, whether they're thought or emotional or behavioral patterns, but very few people understand why I get stuck or why they get stuck. And it's simply because we've learned more about how the human brain works than we've ever known before. And every year, because there's billions of dollars being invested on understanding the functionality and what I call the neuromechanics of how the brain works, once we understand a little bit about how the brain works, we can say, okay, well, do you know how, for example, you upgrade your computer software every 6 months and you upgrade your mobile software and the apps software? Well, what if I shared with you that unless you upgrade your brain's software, it just keeps repeating the same patterns over and over and over again? And so then the question would be, well, I never thought of it that way. How do I upgrade my brain's software? And so, first and foremost, every brain functionally works the same, like cars, like computers. The operating system works the same, but the software, the conditioning is different. And we have some of our conditioning is empowering us, some is disempowering us. Some of our beliefs free us, some limit us. Some of our habits are constructive, some are destructive.
Makes sense.
Right? So the question then becomes, if these are patterns of software or neural networks in my brain that I wasn't born with, have the neuroscientists and the neuropsychologists uncovered ways to deactivate, shall we say, the ones that I don't want or need anymore and create and reinforce new ones? Yeah. And that's what we do on the BrainAthon.
It's like a brain hack in a way. When people say they do a brain hack, they help you improve your viewpoints, and you get new, not habits, I'll say patterns of thought or patterns of behavior that develop, cultivate because of the breakthroughs that you create, blocking people from their own potential.
Yeah. So the question, is if somebody is blocked, the question that I would be asking is where, how, why? Like, where are you blocked? How are you blocked? Why are you blocked?
I like a simple approach to something that people will understand. It'll resonate with them if you can ask those questions and unlock the potential that way.
Yeah, and we know, part of how our brain conserves energy, which is really what it wants to do, it regulates glucose and salt and water for survival and safety and avoidance of pain. But it also uses the majority of our calories. Even though our brain only encompasses about 2 to 3% of our body weight, it uses 25 to 30% of our calories.
Wow.
And so it is using these calories to basically run the programs, the software automatically. And it doesn't like to change. The only human that likes change, we say, is a wet baby. The rest of us resist change because it uses up metabolic capital. And so purely from a neuroscience perspective, I always, hold on one second.
Yeah, that's right.
I always have this like brain over here and I say, forget about my face, right? But that's what you're talking to.
Yes.
Right? You're not like, I know you see my face, but this is what's getting
talking to your brain. Love that.
Through the ears and through the eyes and then the electrical storm.
We don't think about the fact that our bodies are our vehicles and the brain's inside and, all.
Everything that's happening right now is happening inside my skull, inside your skull, and it's all just electrical activity and neurons firing and creating images in the occipital lobe in our brain. And there's these networks and circuits that turn on or off. So if we're afraid, there's certain circuits that turn on. If we're excited, there's certain circuits that turn on. If we're uncertain, there's certain circuits that turn on. If we're motivated, there's certain circuits that turn on. And there's certain circuits that cause us to move forward and take inspired action. And a lot of our circuits are to move away from what our brain's neural networks deems as dangerous, or something that might cause us to be embarrassed or ashamed or ridiculed or judged or rejected or hurt financially or physically. And so there's this almost like this gas and brakes, that are automatic based on not our potential, but based on our memory from childhood, our memory from being a teen, our memory from being a young adult. And these memories then cause these automatic patterns to control our lives. And so even when we, let's say, set a goal, we want to double our income, we want to get out of debt, we want to save for retirement so we can be happy, that happens in one part of the brain, but it doesn't affect the behavioral part of the brain. Because the behavioral part of the brain, or the habitual part of the brain, is a hidden away, very, very tightly knit group of neurons that don't like to change because it took 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to develop them and to reinforce them. So there's some things that we have learned about how this thing works. As far as I know, there isn't a human being that was born yet, Jason, that when he or she was born, the doctor says, here's your baby, what are you going to name her? And you choose a name. And by the way, here's the operating system for her brain. Follow the operating system. None of our parents or grandparents got that. You and I didn't get that. Nobody that's paying attention got it. But guess what we're finally figuring out now, because we now have technology, functional magnetic resonance imaging technology, SPECT scan, single proton emission tomography, that we can actually see inside the human brain at the deepest levels we've ever been able to see. So that's giving us an idea of, when John or Jason or Mary are in a state of fear, this circuit is lighting up like a Christmas tree. And if we take blood from Jason or John or Mary, when this circuit's lit, we can see cortisol and epinephrine and norepinephrine, the fight, flight, or freeze neurochemicals. And when Jason or John or Mary or Sally are thinking about being on the beach and retiring with the pina colada in their hand while their grandkids are playing and their children are well taken care of, oh my God, we can see these other circuits lighting up like a Christmas tree. When we take blood from them at that point, we see dopamine. We might see serotonin. We might see oxytocin, the love bonding neurochemicals. So how and why does this circuit turn on? And how and why does this circuit turn on? And is this circuit connected to anything else in there?
That's really cutting edge.
So we've never been able to do that in 500 plus years of science. We're just starting to get the map, of what's happening in here. And so the reason I get so excited about
it makes sense though. It's the unknown frontier, right? What's the percentage of our brain that we're unaware that we don't use as humans? I forgot if it's a 10, 15, 20%.
Nope, old myth. We use 100% of our brain, and in a 24-hour period of time, it used to be 5%, 7%, 10%. We use 100% of our brain, but not 100% of our brain's potential.
That's what I should say, yeah.
Right? The brain if you really sit back for just a moment and you think, how much is this thing worth? Like if I want to recreate, how much is it worth?
Priceless. You can't put a price on the brain.
It's priceless. But even if you said we can't create it for $100 billion, because we've tried. And we haven't even come close to the parallel processing of what's happening there to understand. You and I were talking earlier about, what is intuition, and is there a GPS that's tied to intuition that allows some people to tap into the quantum field better than others? Of course there is. You're living proof of it. But science hasn't been able to go, and here's how it works yet.
I want to say something. We're on the same page. I've actually said this to a few other people. I say that in the next 20 years, we're going to have technology that helps us to figure out how a psychic intuitive person works, or how the other side, deceased loved ones coming through are energetically connected with each other. There's going to be something that will figure that out.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. There's something called entanglement in quantum physics that proves that everybody and everything is entangled, like in the web together. Now, somebody might be on the other edge of the web, but if you think about, how a spider knows that it's caught its prey, the spider might be in the center of the web, and on the outer edges of the web, a fly just hit there and reverberates all the way to where the spider is, and it knows it's got something out there. Well, we just don't see exactly this invisible web.
I love that. That's a great
energy information, right? So we're so used to, I trust and believe what I can hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. Okay, what about what you intuit? Have you ever walked into a room and something's wrong, and you ask your friends, hey, what's wrong? And they go, oh, nothing. No, seriously, what's wrong? And they go, nothing. The freaking dog knows something is wrong. What do you mean nothing? I can feel it as soon as I walked in.
It's a chill, or it feels like a wall that you walk into, right? You just,
So there's communication happening with our other than physical senses.
Yes.
But the point that I really want to make, and the reason I get so excited about the Brain-A-Thon, is every year there's some new stuff that can help us. And if we think about like what do I want in my life? Well, I want to be happy. I want to make a difference. I want to be loved. I want to love. I want to receive. I want to give. I want to have more peace of mind. I want to have more fun and experiences. I want to have more freedom, time, emotional freedom, time with my children, So everybody wants more of something, even more peace of mind. And so the question is, if it's possible to have more of whatever it is I want and to have less of what I don't want, and I could learn how to do that based on science or other evidence-based methods, when would now be a good time to learn?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Your theme this year, change your brain, change your income. Share that with our audience.
So listen, it's been a real challenging year and a half for a lot of people. And whenever we have events like we've had on a world level, okay, we haven't seen anything like this since the Great Depression. We've had upturns and downturns. We've had, 7 or 8 crashes, but they've been crashes within specific industries. And in parts of the world, it affected, in other parts it didn't. But when we've been through this pandemic, still, going through it, a lot of people, their health took a toll for the worst, whether it's children or adults. Financially, a lot of people got really hurt. Some people made money. I think about 25% of people actually did better during this time. 75% didn't do as well. And there's been a lot of uncertainty and doubt and fear. And the real estate market has been going up for 11, 12 years. The stock market's been booming, crypto this and crypto that, and enormous wealth being made by some people, not everyone. People are expecting a downturn at some point. So there's uncertainty. And when things are uncertain, we need to have the ability to not be distracted. We need to have the ability to adapt. We need to have the ability to stay in control. We need to have the ability to navigate quickly left or quickly right. And since change is hard, then what if we can make it easier, right? If uncertainty creates fear, then what if we can manage the emotion of fear better? If all of this distraction is making it harder for us to focus on success, what if we can help eliminate some of the distractions? So more and more, I know that people get stuck at a certain weight. People get stuck with a certain relationship. People get stuck with a certain income. And there's a financial setting that we all have, like a set point, like a thermostat. And what I also know is there are ways to reset our brain's financial thermostat. So earning more is possible. So getting out of debt faster is possible. So investing is possible. Protecting your wealth is possible. And doing it in a wise way where you're not taking more risk, you're actually being a lot more methodical, starts with your mindset, continues with your skill set, and carries through to what I call are your action sets, what you do. So get your mindset right, get your skill set right, get your actions right, your action sets right. Then you can create what I love to teach all of my students is predictable transformations and results.
Okay, I'm going to say this. Since we met is a year ago, I've been really exercising law of attraction in my life, and it's made superb differences. What you're talking about here, as I hear you talk and discuss this, this sounds like if let's say law of attraction 101, this would be like the upper level course.
Yeah.
In terms of sophistication, but I think the impact of it is just that much greater, because once you get to the point where you can, like you said, one of your students, but once you get to the point where you can start applying the concept that thoughts are things, everything we're looking at is interconnected, and what we think becomes a part of our own mindset. I feel like something like the Brain-A-Thon event sounds like it helps untangle people's hangups within themselves. Is that?
Yeah. When we talk about our brain, let me give you a visual that I think everybody will get. Imagine that you want to put together a band. Okay, you have a crazy idea. I want to be in a band, and let's say you want to be the singer, and you ask one of your friends, "Hey, since you can play the piano, you can be the pianist." You ask another friend, "Since you like playing the guitar, you play the guitar," and another friend plays another instrument. So there's 4 of you. Your job is to get the 4 members of your band to do what? And the answer is to get into harmony and coherence.
Okay.
Right? So all of the instruments are creating a vibration. And when those vibrations are in concert, they are in harmony, and it freaking sounds great, right?
Great music.
If any one of those band members, including you, is out of key, is not doing their job right, it sounds like shit.
Exactly.
That's called chaos. So in the world of energy, we want to make sure that we get our mindset right? We want to make sure that we get our heart set right. Mind and heart aligned, emotions. And then we want to make sure that this physical body of ours is also doing the right things in the right order at the right time. Right? Because if any one of those are out of alignment, you're not doing the right things, you're thinking the right things, you're feeling the right things, but you're not doing the right things, you're not in concert. If you're, acting without focus, you're not doing that, right? So the key is, how do I get my vision and my goals and my beliefs and my behaviors in alignment with the goal that I want? And so when we talk about change your brain, change your income, here's what I can tell everybody right now: you are in perfect order and harmony or chaos with the income you are making right now. You're in perfect order and harmony with it right now. You may not like it, but that's what you are in perfect harmony and order with right now. Let me give you a different visual to it. Somebody who doesn't have any money right now, that may be $1 million in debt, or homeless. Let's go homeless, that wins the lottery. All of a sudden, they win all this money. Now they have a homeless scarcity mentality or mindset.
Overspent.
Well, they'll get rid of the money within 3 years. because they're not in harmony with it, and it's not in harmony with them.
You change that.
First, you have to meet people that want to change it, and they have to be committed to changing, not interested. Then if they're committed to changing because they're going to be curious and they're willing to be open enough to let go of what may be holding them back and just be curious enough to see a different way, that's the beginning stage. So it's awareness first, because awareness is what opens the door to possibilities. And then the right skills and behavior turn those possibilities into probabilities and predictabilities.
I love that. You know, one of the things I like about having you on the show for my audience is you can break down these concepts in such a way that anyone listening, doesn't matter what age, what level of knowledge of this stuff, you do it in such a way where it's spoon-fed, but it's practical and it's understandable. And I think it resonates with anyone you describe this stuff to, because normally most people who try to explain this stuff, it doesn't get conveyed very well. But I think that's one of your skill sets and your gifts, is that you could take these concepts and ideas that for a lot of people, they have a hard time factually, imagine in their head, just connecting. And as you described,
it's one of my superpowers. Take some complex stuff, make it simple.
I was to say, you definitely have that, because I'm just taking notes. I took some notes from, I feel like I'm in class right now, because I'm like, I get to spend an hour to talk to you about your BrainAthon event, but then I'm also like, heck, you know what? Anything you're saying right now, I'm writing down my notes, because wisdom is gained from every conversation.
Thank you, my friend.
Tell me this. Your BrainAthon event, right? Where do you see it going in the future? Because this is the 9th annual event. Where do you see the future of this event going?
I mean, it's a great question. As long as we're helping people, we're expecting over, 1.5 million people in the next 12 months from this new one to watch it, 2 million people.
That'd be phenomenal.
This year we're expecting 150,000 people to sign up for it for the day of the event, and then we'll broadcast it all over the world. Then maybe we could take it into different languages, and maybe we can take it into different mediums, take the concepts, teach them in the schools, stream them on Netflix. There's so many possibilities of what we can do. And so I'm building my team right now to be able to scale even more than we have. It's been a phenomenal ride for the last 8 years. And, so we're scaling, we're growing, we're helping a lot of people. And so I think we're turning on a lot of light bulbs, and we're doing it for free. I mean, the BrainAthon is for free. It's like, it
doesn't cost anything, so why not do it, right? It makes sense. Like, if something's free, that's a beautiful thing right now.
It is and it isn't. And I'll tell you why. Sometimes when it's free, people are like, why is it free? The reason that it's free is I have a passion to help people with changing their lives for the better. On the BrainAthon, we don't make any qualms about this. If people want to go deeper into our work, then they can. When we give them a whole day of free training, they come for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4. And if they want to learn with us and get into some of our programs, then they do. So it's great exposure for us. It's free to them. And many of the people decide they want to continue learning this because they want to go deeper into it. And so we expose people to a world and training that they would normally not have access to, the caliber of people, that we have on our programs. And we've had, just some of the most brilliant individuals who not are just brilliant, but they know how to teach so that other people go, wow, I can do that. And we have people that are 18 to 80 who show up for the BrainAthon.
Let me ask you this. Let's talk a little about the panel this year. Can you share with our guests the panel of participants for the BrainAthon event? I know you have some big name experts. So
yes, one of the leading thinkers in the world on human behavior is John Demartini. And he's been in the personal development field for really like 40 years, travels the world, does 300 engagements a year, teaching people, makes a lot of money for his wisdom. He'll be on teaching. Jack Canfield, and some of you may know Jack Canfield. He's in his mid to late 70s now. I
actually met him at a keynote address about 15 years ago. I was there as a runner-up for an award. He was our keynote, and he had the soul.
Nice. Yeah, he started Chicken Soup for the Soul, and his books have sold 500 million copies. You think he might know something about success?
So. Just a little.
He's written best-selling books, a Harvard graduate, super bright, has certified coaches for success all over the world. He'll be on there, and he doesn't have to work, but he and I have been friends since 1993 or so. So he's on there. Many people know Lisa Nichols from The Secret, but a lot of people don't know that, she came up, with a challenging childhood and was helping teens that were challenged and decided to really take her life and go for it and became mega successful. She's been on all the TV shows, radios, etc., and talking about some of her greatest lessons about overcoming life's hurdles and wanting to quit, and why you cannot, should not, must not quit on yourself. We've got Marisa Peer, is from the UK. She's considered one of the, if not the top hypnotherapists in the world, working with royalty, athletes, CEOs, homemakers to overcome the mental and emotional obstacles. So she'll be showing and talking about how she helps people with hypnosis to overcome any mental or emotional obstacle or trauma. Then I will be doing a session as well on the conscious and subconscious mind and what we've discovered about the conscious, subconscious mind, how to reprogram it for greater success. And then we have Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett, the author of 7.5 Lessons About the Brain and How Emotions Are Made. Lisa Barrett Feldman, Professor Lisa Barrett Feldman, distinguished professor at Northeastern University. If you were to look at cited research right now in the world, she's in the top 1% of all cited researchers in the world right now, talking about some of the new distinctions about the brain and how to use your brain better to achieve a dream life. This is a woman that's in the university teaching as a professor, and how emotions are made and how you can actually manage your emotions better versus them managing you. She doesn't do a lot of training and interviews like this, so she's going to be on the show. And so we have a variety of people that have come from a different angle with different tools, techniques, methodologies that everybody can learn from. And then we also invite clients of ours that were on last year's Brain-A-Thon that took what they learned, let's say on last year's Brain-A-Thon, and became a millionaire in 12 months, got out of debt, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, bought a new home, a new car, no debt in the last 12 months, where they were in debt $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. They were almost bankrupt, and they took the tools that they learned. So we're going to have some of our NeuroGym guests that have appeared on the Brain-A-Thon before, showing, here's what I watched the Brain-A-Thon, here's what I learned, here's what I did, here's what happened. You can do it too. So you're going to get a chance to see real people like we all are, with real opportunities and challenges like we all have. And you're going to be able to get unstuck and get this new, for some people, a new lease on life. For other people, a new gear, to get into a new gear. So if you're already doing well, but you really want to do better, we'll show you how.
Interesting. Everything you just went over the lineup sounds like the dream team.
It's awesome. Every year we have the dream team.
Right? Yeah. That's what I see. I'll say this. I believe a lot in mentoring, coaching, and helping people reach their full potential. And I know that that's a big part of what these type of events are like. Absolutely. And it sounds like empowerment isn't even the right word to use. It's like 3 steps above empowerment, in my opinion, right? And I find that fascinating, and it's great. In terms of the duration of the event, how would you describe that? If it's like a Brain-A-Thon event, you would think like marathon or... Yeah.
It starts, it's Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it'll go till about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. People, let me share with you what happens. There's 2 types of people. There's the people that come for the first time, and they're like, well, let me see what it's like. And they book like an hour or 2 in their schedule. Then they go, oh my God, I got to cancel everything else because this is amazing. And they stay. Then there's the people who were there last year and the year before and the year before that and the year before that. And they have actually parties at their home with friends.
I was just thinking that just now while you were just saying that intuitively or just in my own way. I was like, what if someone hosted a party and had it like streamed to their TV and people, even, I know we're dealing with COVID and stuff, but if you have a pot of people or if you can even virtually host something, I guess you should say too, you can let people know about it.
Yeah, a lot of time. Well, we have people tell people. Probably about 25% of the attendees are friends of friends that attended before.
Why not? Think about it. How else are you going to implement change easiest is if you have a partner or something like a workout partner, right? You need somebody that can hold you accountable with your goals. And I think that that's probably a good way of approaching this.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have, it's an amazing lineup. It's really easy to participate. There's live chat, prizes that we give out, and as well to make it fun. So, it's just a fun day. It's a fun day to expand your mind and realize that you can achieve way more than you're achieving right now in every area of your life. The theme is change your brain, change your income. But everything we teach you is really around change your brain, change your life.
You know what? I'm going to do my best to promote this to our audience because I think the value of it is so important. And I think after what we've all been through for this last year and a half, whatever period of time this uncertainty has gone in our minds, something that we can do, I believe heavily in healing modalities, music, meditation, whatever you want to talk about, right? Yeah. And when I'm listening to us talk about your event right now or discuss the event, I see you having experts getting together, sharing their skill sets and their tips of the trade, breadcrumbs, whatever you want to call it, secrets. No pun on the secret. And then I see people learning different coping modalities and healing modalities on how to get their concert, how to get the body, the heart, and the brain in concert.
You got it. And the gut.
And the gut. So if you can do that in an 8-hour day or 6 hours, or whatever it's going to be for this event, I would say, what else are you doing that day? Because it sounds like it's a well worthwhile event.
It's life-changing. It's really life-changing. If and here's something else. I mean, if people are still watching you and I, right? What I've discovered, this is in my life, is we live in a very intelligent universe, right? Omnipotent, omnipresent. And a lot of times in our life, we may get a little tap on the shoulder. And sometimes we look and don't pay attention. But if you're here, my hallucination is that the universe is tapping you on the shoulder saying, pay attention. The word coincidence means when two angles coincide. So the fact that you and I and whoever is watching or listening to us right now have coincided, nature does what she does maximally efficiently, on time, every time, no exceptions. Nature is effortless. Nature, I often say that nothing works in nature, yet everything in nature works. So if you're here and there's something within you saying, this sounds interesting, it's because you're supposed to be here and you're supposed to join us as the next thing versus going to get ice cream, okay, or watching a Netflix show. This event has the ability to answer all of your desires, right? Desire, right? But you have to listen. When the signals come, you have to listen and you have to act.
I love that. And you know what? I was going to ask you about synchronicity. That's something I'm real big with, especially with manifestation. I've learned so much through synchronicity in my life. Certain people come in at a certain time, or looking at the trends and the patterns of life to kind of understand what the universe is trying to show you or direct you or guide you, kind of like a traffic director kind of.
The universe operates in perfect order and harmony. Period.
I love that, though.
I mean, if you think about if we for a moment think about, okay, most of us are either standing or sitting right now, maybe laying down, okay? There's 100 trillion cells in our body that are dying and being created. Our nucleus of our atom is being kept in place because of the gravitational force of the moon and the earth and the cosmic fabric of space-time. I'm going to get a little deep now for a moment. The earth that we are on is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour on an axis in the Milky Way galaxy that's moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, as the earth is rotating on its own axis, rotating around the sun, that's rotating around the galaxy, or the galaxy is rotating. And there's 8 other planets that are moving in their elliptical orbits around the sun without any of our involvement. Which perfection aren't you seeing?
I have one to add to you, just from me.
Go.
Worry about intuition. When I talk to the other side and they come through, they tell me that dying is like falling asleep on the couch while watching TV. That nature is perfect in order, and that the actual act of death is just a transition where the spirit leaves the body. The body's an avatar for the planet while you're around here, a vehicle. And that when you die, it's like falling asleep. You don't even realize you're dead till you're on the other side. There's a greeter. And the reason I bring this up is I tell people all the time that when you cross over, it's such an ordered process and a part of nature. It's like breathing, eating, and other things we do naturally, right? That you wouldn't, I mean, you don't pay attention to every breath you take unless I say, hey, you're breathing right now. It's an autonomic thing, right?
That's right.
Why would, everything with nature is like that though. When you really think about it, all the nature that we are exposed to, all the nature that we're in, have those kind of things at work that we don't even have a part in. It's just automatically we're a part of it.
That's right.
But we don't, in our minds, always pay attention to those things.
Yeah. And listen, one of the things, I'm going to divert for a little moment there. One of the things that's happening right now in the world of psychedelic research, which is fascinating, whether it's 5-MeO, DMT, ayahuasca, ketamine, psilocybin, mushrooms, et cetera, MDMA, all of these medicines are gateways to other states of consciousness. Right, they're gateways to other states of consciousness, no differently than, we use telescopes to look out through lens, and depending on the power of the telescopes allows us to look a certain depth into the universe, or we use microscopes to look into, the nucleus of an atom, where we can see the electrons spinning and the protons, right? So you're able to do that. For example, as we talked about earlier, you have a psychic ability, right? Or an augmented ability that some people have, some people do not. And when we start to realize that our brain, has so much potential that none of us are using as fully as we can, what if we could just use our brain 5 or 10% better? Just 5 or 10% better.
Become more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? It's also the concept in your mind that you're not limited in your potential. You're not stuck. So many people, I think, in the last year or so just felt stuck, that they had to stay in, they had to stay away from each other, social distance, stay in quarantine. And a lot of people, I think, feel stuck in their ways. And I think one of the best things about this event and just about having you on the show and talking about these things, if we can unstuck people from their own points of view, they won't feel trapped. They'll feel liberated. They'll be willing to achieve more in their lives.
Yeah. Unlock and get unstuck. Totally agree.
100%. Let me ask you this. In terms of what someone should expect if they've never been to one of these events before, what would you say to like an average member of the audience that's never done anything with The Secret, has no knowledge or awareness of these concepts, but they've been intrigued by us for the first time, they tuned into this? What would you say to them? What should they expect?
Well, first and foremost, this is probably as far away from The Secret as it gets. Why? The Secret was great as far as a movie, and I was blessed to be in it. But The Secret, I think, shared with people that, think, believe, and you'll achieve. And I think it missed the boat a little bit, because even in the law of attraction, which is what The Secret is about, nobody talked about the last 6 letters of the word attraction. Action.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of people thought that it's this wishful thinking that causes us to manifest, as if, if you sit in your home and you visualize and you meditate and you write your goals out, then there's going to be a knock on your door, and it's going to be the whatever that Reader's Digest sweepstakes. You just won $10 million. Well, good luck. Because if that's what you're hoping for, my guarantee is that they're going to come and take away your furniture. That's how you're planning on making money. Money is a byproduct. Health is a byproduct. A great relationship is a byproduct. Spiritual connectedness is a byproduct, an effect. And it's an effect of the right mindset, skill set, and action set. And if you don't know what those are and how to do it, then you're in a state of ignorance. Now, ignorance just means not knowing. Now, we're all ignorant to some degree or another, right? So if you want to take the blinders off and really see more, feel more, get more congruent, and do more, you can have more.
I'm going to use a couple of your ideas for a minute and kind of paint this image. So if I was one to go to, when I participate in your event, could I say that I'll be learning how to be my own conductor within my own life to bring everything into harmony and concert with each other between the mindset, skill set, and the action set, that you'll have the ability to bring all those together to maximize, make you more efficient inside yourself?
Yeah. You'll be the conductor, the captain of the ship, and you will be in control and in concert versus out of control and out of harmony.
I love that. And in terms of the event, let's say when I go to the event, it's someone in the audience, I'm speaking for them. I love what you're teaching me. And I'm so hung on this. I love it. I want more of it. Then we can sign up with you to do more? Is that how that works?
We'll introduce people to some stuff that they can take a look at, go deeper into understanding how to take more control of their life and be better conductors, for sure.
I think that's great. And you do offer those opportunities. I know that. And if so,
of course.
Our audience will, and I'll get the link and I'll add in my show notes for this.
Just put it in the show notes. Absolutely. That'd be great.
Let me ask you this. Looking at, I think it's going to be a major success as usual, but I think it's going to be one of your biggest events yet, I think, personally.
I agree.
Intuition speaking for a minute. I also think the message you're sharing is one of massive positivity and empowerment. So when you have that kind of a message, it resonates with a lot of people. It's going to attract a lot of opportunity. And that's why I'm so excited about having you on the show today, because I want to be a part of promoting this to our audience, because I think what you're doing is so worthwhile, and you're bringing the brain trust of the highest caliber experts that you could bring together for a single event. And so anyone who participates in this will be exposed to all these speakers, presenters, and ideals.
It's something that I do out of passion. I'll share with you why. When I was 19, I was a troubled teen, troubled youth, troubled teen. And my brother introduced me to this one guy who was very successful, and he gave me some of his time at lunch. And he agreed to mentor me and to share with me his ways and his wisdom. And he shared with me, he said, listen, if I help you, make me just one promise. Once you achieve the success that I will show you how to achieve, help others.
Yes.
So
the fish, right? If you teach them the fish, they will feed themselves, and they will.
That's right. I've been fortunate. I've built 5 multi-million-dollar companies. I took one company to $4.5 billion a year in sales. Another company we took public on NASDAQ. It was also worth billions. I was a partner with 5 other guys. I've had some success. I've had lots of failures too, so don't get me wrong.
You know what?
I've learned stuff that I can share with people of what I did that worked, what I did that didn't work, so I can make your path just a little bit easier and smoother.
You're a tour guide. But listen, any failure is only a learning experience for us.
Oh yeah, right? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with failure.
Neither do I. I feel like they're all learning experiences, and we're on the. It's a lab. Our lives are laboratories for us to learn.
I was with a very successful entrepreneur the other day, and we were talking about what does it take to be an all-star player or Hall of Famer. If we were talking about baseball, it says that means you need to hit 3 out of 10 at bat. That means you didn't get on base 7 times. You failed 2+ times more than you won. And we were both laughing how so many people think that success is success. No, it's
resiliency.
2 steps forward, 3 back, 5 forward, 1 back, 8 forward, 9. It's winning more than losing is what success is. And learning so that you can win more and faster is what success is. And so the challenge is, having the grit, the fortitude, the persistence to continue when you've learned a lesson that isn't to your taste.
The perseverance, right?
That's
Not being afraid of rejection, and fear could be a crippling force for a lot of people. But if you can show people through this event, for example, that fear is only one thing and you can get around it, it's not a permanent obstacle in your life. Fear of rejection, fear of this, fear of that. You can retrain your abilities and look at your mindset and your skill set and take action to do the right steps.
Yeah, and you can actually turn your fear into fuel, because the neurochemicals of fear are actually even stronger than adrenaline. It's cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. So it's almost like rocket fuel. The problem is rocket fuel could burn you and explode and disintegrate, or it could take you to the stars, right? Or to the Mars. But most people don't know how to harness the emotion of fuel so that they can actually accelerate their success. They think that fear should hold them back. And I'm gonna end with this. I want you to imagine you're driving your car and you're having a nice chit chat, all right, with a family member or a friend, and you're having a really great talk. And all of a sudden, a light pops up on your dash, and you're on the highway at 60 miles an hour. Have you ever considered taking a hammer and hitting the light while you're on the highway?
No.
That would be nuts, right? Well, that's because you have learned that the light means maybe you're low on gas. Let me look. Maybe windshield wiper fluid is low and you need to clean your glass. Maybe you left, the back trunk open. Maybe there's tire pressure missing and the sensors are giving you a signal, okay, that you need to pay attention. So what if I shared with you that when the fear circuit in the brain goes off, it's just a signal of your brain telling you that there may be mental, emotional, physical, or financial danger ahead and discomfort. That's all it means, right? Because if there was imminent danger right now, you'd already be bolting somewhere, okay, or fighting the lion, right, or freezing by going into the closet and not moving because you're so scared. So when we need to be really afraid, trust me, you will be really afraid. But everything else is a signal based on memories that you have since the day you were born.
I love that. And also that when you just said that, I thought evolution too. I feel like fear is an evolution for us. It's part of our evolution, because when you think about fight or flight, it's in genetics, it's within us.
You got it.
We get that physiological mental reaction, right? If you can show people what you just said, I feel like that can help them understand that this isn't meant to be fight or flight. It's not meant to have you be crippled by fear. You should embrace your fear. Look at it as just a warning light in your dashboard. Go get yourself to look at it and see what causes it.
And there are techniques to be more aware. There's techniques to eliminate the emotion of fear in less than 90 seconds. There are techniques to actually use the fear as your fuel. And there are techniques to not allow the same old fears that maybe you picked up when you were a child to control you when you're an adult.
I love that.
All skills you can learn. And that's what we will be talking about on the Brain-A-Thon.
You've piqued my interest. I can't wait to see this event. And
Awesome, Jason.
I want to really thank you for coming and sharing your skill sets and everything with our audience and having this conversation today. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you very much, my friend. I look forward to seeing you and everybody else on the Brain-A-Thon. The link will be in the show notes.
Sounds good. I will do that. Thank you so much, John. I just want to thank John for coming on the show. I love having a podcast. I have to share that, because when you think about the stuff that John's discussing and sharing with us, it's a free event. And the information for it will be in the show notes. I'm going to promote it as well. I'm going to participate in this event. And I really do think it's going to make a difference for anyone that goes. So participate in the 2021 Brain-A-Thon. Change your brain, change your income. There's some fascinating guests. And I really do think you'll be happy to participate in this. Just in light of our conversation today, I mean, how else can you have such experts as Jack Canfield, Dr. John Demartini, Lisa Nichols, Marisa Peer? I mean, these people are amazing. And obviously, when you talk to John, you can see his perspective. You don't have these kind of conversations every day, and you don't have these kind of events but once a year. So let's take a chance, continue to grow our minds and our spirit and our body connection. And I think one of the biggest things you can do is learning to adjust your life, to maximize, to bring your mindset, like John said, bring your mindset, skill set, and action set into harmony, in concert with one another. Check out this event. I'm so glad to have it as part of our show and promoting it with John and working with John on this event. I'm so happy to have our audience know about it. And if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me directly at info@D, socialpsychicradio.com. I want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. And until next time, stay positive, because when you're positive, anything's possible. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Social Psychic Radio Show. Don't forget to join us for another episode next time. If you enjoyed the show, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. You can also check us out on Facebook, and don't forget to visit the Social Psychic YouTube channel. Until next time, it's a big world out there. Keep an open mind, embrace your paradigms, and know that the universe is always yours to explore.